I think first of all, well, looking at the CV and letter, because that's definitely that's the first interaction. Generally, you'll get a letter and a CV. So the basics need to be right. Obviously, no spelling mistakes, no grammar mistakes, set out neatly, correctly. That's the basics. I think beyond then, I'm looking for experience, but that doesn't necessarily need to be experience in sport. It could be experience in another industry. It could be experience in a placement. It could be experience volunteering. It just needs to show a spark of proactivity and creativity and passion within the person. I think that's the most important thing. And then beyond there, I'm looking for some relevant creative ideas that person might have about why they want to work at the organisation that I'm representing. So just to show some thought and some ingenuity. And I think if you have those three things together, that's very powerful, definitely. I'm lucky enough to have lots of highlights actually. I mean, from my time at the FA, going to New York to do the Budweiser deal for the FA Cup, that was really good. Tying up the E deal, the Vauxhall deals, they were really good times. And then obviously travelling with the England team and watching some amazing games around the world. Definitely the highlights. This is the absolute reason why we're doing sport calling, because I think the routes into sport and sport business have been unclear and undefined. And I think people have been sold a dream too often in terms of going to university and doing very expensive courses. Some of them are good, some of them aren't so good, and coming out and not really getting much support for that kind of final mile into getting a job in sport. And that's what sport calling is. It's about making sure that people have relevant, up-to-date information from people that work in sport that can enable them to find what it is they're interested in and then develop their careers within sport. If it was literally to myself, I'd say don't spend so much time in the pub. No, I'd probably say do what you're doing. I mean, I've really enjoyed what I've done so far. I don't regret a thing I've done. I think my path from media into sport was a pretty sound one. But I think in terms of genuine advice, the stuff I said about CV and letter applications and showing your passion and your creativity, I think that's the main thing. And getting some experience. It doesn't have to be in sport. Go and volunteer and do something interesting to talk about in an interview. And that's what people are interested in, because people want to employ people that have a real holistic sense of themselves. I mean, you can't ignore technology. You know, the technological landscape is changing massively, and that has an impact on sport. The way sport is broadcast is very different from how it was 5 years ago even. You know, the multi-format, new players within the market now. It's not the traditional sports broadcasters that are buying rights. So that is affecting the whole sports industry and obviously what we do. And then certainly the emergence in Asia of major sports brands and rights owners. Within China, obviously, is one example in football. So they're two big, huge global things. But there is stuff on a much smaller local as well.